Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Get ready to dive into a world where every story has a twist, every moment has a meaning, and you are part of the journey. Whether you're here for the thrill, the emotion, or just to escape into something new, this is the place for you. So sit back, relax, and let me take you on a ride through stories that will make you think, feel, and maybe even see the world a little differently.
It was a warm Monday morning when I started working at the big company. I was so excited. I had a shiny new desk, a comfy chair, and my first big job. I worked hard every day, always trying to do my best. The boss, Mr. Blackwell, was tall and wore a sharp suit. He looked serious, but I thought he was nice at first. Blackwell would come into the office every day and say, "Good morning, everyone." He smiled and always asked how our work was going. He seemed kind, but I started to notice something strange. He would sometimes give me special looks that made me feel uncomfortable, like he was hiding something behind his smile. One afternoon, he called me into his office. "I need to talk to you," he said. I was nervous because I hadn't done anything wrong. When I walked into his office, he closed the door behind me, and the air felt heavy. Blackwell sat down and looked at me seriously. "You know, you're doing a great job here," he said, "but I think you could do even better if you helped me with something private." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying not to sound scared. His smile grew wide. "I think we could have a special arrangement, something that could help both of us." He leaned closer to me, and my heart started to race. "If you help me, I can make sure you get a promotion, maybe even a raise." I didn't understand. "What kind of help?" I asked, my voice shaking. He paused for a moment, and then he said something that made my stomach turn. "I want you to spend some time with me, outside of work, and we could see where things go. You help me, and I'll make sure your career goes to the top." I felt like the room was spinning. I couldn't believe what he was saying. This wasn't a normal conversation. I took a deep breath and looked him straight in the eye. "No," I said firmly. "I can't do that. I won't do that." For a moment, there was silence. Blackwell's face turned red, and he slammed his fist on the desk. "You don't know who you're talking to," he shouted. "I can make your life here miserable. You think you're going to stay here without my help? Think again." I froze. My heart was pounding in my chest. Was he really going to fire me just because I said no? I tried to stay calm. "I don't care if you're my boss," I said, trying to hold back tears. "What you're asking is wrong, and I will not do it. I'm here to work, not to play game." Mr. Blackwell's eyes narrowed. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then, he stood up slowly. "You'll regret this," he said in a cold voice. "But remember, I gave you a choice." I walked out of his office with my head held high, but my mind was spinning. What was going to happen now? Would he really try to fire me? Would I lose my job, just because I stood up for myself? The next day, things got even worse. Every time I went to my desk, I could feel his eyes on me. He made small comments like, "Are you sure you're ready for the big project?" Or, "Don't forget, I'm always here to help you." But it didn't feel like help. It felt like a trap. I tried my best to ignore him and keep working, but it wasn't easy. Every day, it felt like something dark was hanging over me. Would I still have my job tomorrow? Would Mr. Blackwell get back at me for saying no? Then, one afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was sitting at my desk when I received a strange email. It was from a mysterious address. The subject line just said, "Watch your back." My hands shook as I opened it. The email was short but chilling. "Mr. Blackwell is dangerous. You're not the first one he's done this to. Be careful. Someone is watching him, and he'll stop at nothing to get what he wants. Stay strong, and don't give up." Who was this? Who sent this email? And how did they know what had happened in Mr. Blackwell's office? Before I could think more about it, the phone rang. It was Mr. Blackwell's assistant. "Mr. Blackwell wants to see you now." My heart stopped. What did he want now? Was he going to fire me? Would he do something worse? I stood up slowly and made my way to his office, not knowing what to expect. The tension was thick, and I could feel my stomach turn as I knocked on the door. "Come in," Mr. Blackwell called in his usual cold tone. I took a deep breath, pushed the door open, and stepped inside. But what I saw next made my blood run cold.
As I walked into Mr. Blackwell's office, my heart raced. The door shut behind me with a soft click, and I felt trapped like a mouse in a cage. He was sitting at his desk, his face unreadable, but there was something different about the way he looked at me this time. His usual sharp suit seemed to fit him like armor, and his cold, calculating eyes made me feel small. "Sit down," he ordered, gesturing to the chair across from him. I took a seat, my hands trembling slightly in my lap. My mind was...
He stood up suddenly, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. I flinched, but I didn't look away. "You think you're in control? You think you're so righteous," he snapped. "You're nothing without me. You'll see how quickly the world can turn against you." I didn't know what he meant by that, but I could feel the weight of his words pressing down on me like a heavy storm cloud. He was trying to scare me, to make me doubt myself, but I refused to let him win. "I've worked hard for this job," I said, my voice shaking but determined, "and I'm not going to let you ruin that just because I won't do what you ask." Mr. Blackwell smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was a smile that sent chills down my spine. "You think it's just about the job? It's much bigger than that. This isn't about what you can do for me. It's about what I can do to you." My pulse quickened. "What are you talking about?" He walked slowly around the desk, his footsteps echoing in the quiet room. "You'll find out soon enough. People like you don't know how easily things can change. One moment, you're on top. The next, you're nothing. And I can make that happen in an instant." Before I could respond, the door to his office suddenly burst open. It was his assistant, a young woman named Clara. She looked panicked, her eyes wide. "Mr. Blackwell, you need to see this," she said urgently, holding up a piece of paper. He froze, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in his eye. "What is it?" he demanded, taking the paper from her hand. Clara hesitated, glancing nervously at me. "It's an email," she said, "from HR. They've found some very troubling thing, and they're investigating you." Mr. Blackwell's face went pale. His eyes darted back and forth between Clara and the paper. "No, that can't be," he muttered under his breath, as if trying to convince himself. I sat there, not sure if I should feel relieved or scared. What was going on? Was HR really investigating him? Had someone reported what had happened between us? Was I in danger now? I could feel the tension in the room rising. Blackwell's hands clenched into fists, and he slammed the paper down on the desk. "This is an attack," he shouted. "This is a conspiracy to bring me down. Do you know who I am? Do you have any idea what I can do to stop this?" Clara stepped back, clearly frightened. "I don't know, Mr. Blackwell. I just thought you should know. They are serious about this." I could feel the weight of the situation closing in. Blackwell was no longer the confident, imposing boss I had once seen. He looked desperate, almost panicked, as if his entire world was crumbling around him. But there was also something dangerous in his eyes, something wild. "Get out," he snapped at Clara, waving his hand dismissively. "I'll handle this." Clara hesitated for a moment, but then quickly left the room, closing the door behind her. The silence that followed was suffocating. Blackwell stood there, staring at me, his face contorted with rage. "You think you've won," he spat. "You think you can stop me? You have no idea what kind of power I have, but I'm not going to let you destroy me. I'll make sure of it." I stood up slowly, my legs shaky, but my voice strong. "I'm not afraid of you," I said. "I did the right thing, and I won't back down." He laughed bitterly, a sound that made my skin crawl. "You think that's going to save you? We'll see how long your courage lasts when you're out on the street, begging for a job." I didn't say anything else. I turned and walked to the door, my mind racing. The email. What was really going on? Was there something even darker behind all of this? And was Mr. Blackwell as powerful as he claimed to be? As I stepped into the hallway, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I took it out, and the screen showed a new message. "Meet me at the cafe across the street. We need to talk." Anonymous. Who was this? And what did they want to tell me? Was it someone who knew about Mr. Blackwell's dark secrets? Was this my chance to finally learn the truth? I didn't hesitate. I walked straight out of the building, my heart pounding in my chest. I had to find out what was happening, and who was trying to help me. But little did I know, this was just the beginning. The more I dug, the deeper I would fall into a world of lies, betrayal, and danger, and I wasn't sure if I would ever make it out alive. I stepped out of the cafe, clutching the small notebook tightly in my hand. The cool breeze hit my face, but it did nothing to calm the storm inside me. My mind raced with what I had just learned. I had never imagined my simple job would lead me down a path of lies, manipulation, and power play. Blackwell had built an empire by controlling people, using their weaknesses, their fears, and now it seemed I was his next target. But this time, I wasn't going to play by his rules. The street was busy, with people rushing by, oblivious to the tension that had settled over me. I wasn't sure where to go next, what to do with the notebook, or how to even begin contacting the people on the list. But I knew one thing. I had to be careful. One wrong move, and Mr. Blackwell would make sure I'd disappear without a trace, just like he'd done to so many others. I found myself walking to the park near my apartment, trying to clear my head. The trees above rustled in the wind, and the distant chatter of people felt almost surreal compared to the chaos inside me. I sat down on a bench, opening the notebook to the first page. The names written there were mostly unfamiliar, but one stood out to me: Clara, the assistant. Could she be one of the people who had been hurt by Mr. Blackwell? And if so, why had she tried to warn me? My phone buzzed in my pocket, snapping me out of my thoughts. I pulled it out, my heart skipping a beat, when I saw the message was from an unknown number. I know you met with her. Be careful. You're not the only one who's watching. I froze. Was this another warning? And who was it from? I quickly typed a reply. Who is this? The response came almost immediately. Someone who knows the truth about Mr. Blackwell. Someone who wants to help you, but you have to trust me. Meet me tonight, 10 p.m. The abandoned building on Oak Street. I'll explain everything. I stared at the message, my mind racing. Was this a trap? Or was it another person willing to help me? It was hard to tell, but the urgency in the message made it hard to ignore. I looked around the park, feeling the weight of the situation bearing down on me. I didn't have much time. Whatever I decided, I had to make my move soon. The longer I waited, the more dangerous this game became. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being pulled deeper into something I might never escape. As the sun started to set, I couldn't ignore the call to action. The abandoned building on Oak Street. It sounded risky, even reckless, but something told me that if I didn't go, I might lose my only chance to uncover the full truth. I stood up and made my way home to change. The list in my pocket, the warning messages, and the mystery of Clara, all of it was starting to connect in ways I didn't fully understand. But one thing was clear: Mr. Blackwell was a monster, and he was willing to do anything to protect his power. I had to be ready for whatever came next. That night, I found myself standing in front of the dilapidated building on Oak Street, my heart thumping in my chest. The street was quiet, almost eerily so. The building in front of me looked like it had been abandoned for years, its windows boarded up, its walls crumbling, and a strange, heavy feeling in the air. This place felt like it held secrets, and I was about to uncover them. I took a deep breath and walked toward the entrance, glancing around to make sure no one was watching. The door creaked loudly as I pushed it open, the darkness inside swallowing me whole. The building was cold, the air thick with dust and decay. I could barely make out the shapes of broken furniture and discarded items in the shadow. My footsteps echoed as I moved deeper into the building, the only light coming from the faint glow of a nearby street lamp that filtered through the cracks in the wall. I reached the center of the building and stopped. There, standing in the darkness, was a figure. They were cloaked in shadow, their face hidden from view. You came, a voice said, low and steady, almost familiar. My heart raced. Who are you? I demanded, my voice trembling slightly. What do you know about Mr. Blackwell? The figure stepped forward, and as the dim light caught their face, I recognized her. It was Clara. You, I gasped. You were the one who sent me the message. But I thought you worked for him. Clara gave a sad smile. I did, but I couldn't stay silent anymore. I couldn't watch him destroy more people, especially not someone like you. But why didn't you tell me this before? I asked, frustration bubbling up inside me. Why all the secrecy? She sighed deeply, glancing around as if making sure no one else was listening. Because I wasn't sure you'd believe me. Blackwell is dangerous. He's had people like me watching you ever since you refused him. He's been setting you up for a fall, trying to make sure you either give in or get fired. And now, he's about to make his move. I felt a knot form in my stomach. What do you mean? What's he planning to do? Clara's expression hardened. He's going to come after you tonight. He's going to accuse you of stealing company secret. He's already planted the evidence. You'll be blamed for something you didn't do, and no one will believe you. Once that happens, you'll be done. He'll have you blacklisted, and you'll never work again. I felt the world around me tilt, as if everything I'd been working for had just shattered in an instant. So this is it. He's going to destroy me, just like that. Clara stepped closer, her voice urgent. Not if we stop him first. You have to expose him before he can make his move. I know what he's been hiding, and I can help you prove it. But we need to act fast. This is your last chance. The weight of her words hit me like a ton of brick. I had a choice now. I could take the risk, fight back, and expose Mr. Blackwell for the monster he was, or I could let him win. The decision was terrifying, but deep down, I knew I had to do it. I wasn't going to let him destroy me. I wasn't going to let him win. Let's do it, I said, my voice steady with resolve. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Clara and I worked together to make sure the evidence reached the right people, journalists, government officials, and trusted members of the media, who could bring the truth to light. Slowly but surely, Mr. Blackwell's empire began to crumble. As the story unfolded, the public's reaction was swift. People began to speak out, coming forward with their own stories of how Mr. Blackwell had manipulated, bullied, and destroyed lives. The evidence on the flash drive was irrefutable: emails, financial records, and personal accounts of harassment. His grip on the company was slipping, and with it, the control he had over so many lives. Blackwell tried everything he could to fight back. He used his connections to attempt damage control, threatening legal action, and trying to discredit those who spoke out. But it was too late. The truth had a way of spreading faster than any lie, and once it had taken root, nothing could stop it. Eventually, Mr. Blackwell was forced out of his position. He faced investigations into his unethical business practices, and the law finally caught up with him. The people he had tormented were given a voice, and the company he had built on fear and deceit slowly began to rebuild itself into something better, more transparent, and fair. As for me, I didn't walk away unscathed. The battle had taken its toll, emotionally, mentally, and physically, but I had gained something that was priceless: my integrity. I had stood up for what was right, even when it seemed impossible. I had faced my fears and come out stronger on the other side. I had stood up for what was right, even when it seemed impossible. I had faced my fears and come out stronger on the other side.